But I think what happened with OpenAI, especially ChatGPT, it just democratized AI and made it available public, just like what the World Wide Web did for the internet.
Exactly. Welcome back to the Ultimate Guide to Partnering. I'm Vince Menzione, your host, and I'm on a mission to empower every individual, organization, and partner to achieve their greatest results through successful partnering. Much of the discussion we've been having has been around the tectonic shifts, this decade of the ecosystem, the increasing dominance of the three hyperscalers, and the role of AI, the dominance of AI and the future opportunities around AI. And my guest today is a leader in an organization that's at the forefront of some of this technology, working with the hyperscalers, infusing AI into their solutions, and driving the change we're seeing partners drive to lead to their greatest success. My guest today is Dux Raymond Sy, the Chief Brand Officer of AvePoint, and a longtime friend of this podcast and me personally. Dux, welcome to the podcast.
Hey, Vince, thank you for having me back. I should buy you dinner or something.
Well, look where we are, right? I mean, we're in Boca Raton, Florida.
We're not really at the beach, are we?
Well, we're close to the beach. We're
Okay,
not about
all
a
right.
mile away here, but we like to bring the beachfront here in the studio.
I got to tell you, this is my, believe it or not, first time in Boca. I've been in Miami a lot, Fort
Crazy.
Lauderdale, but this is a nice part of Florida.
It's a nice little spot. It's a nice little
it's
spot.
like a hidden secret, you know?
Palm Beach County. I live in Jupiter, a little bit further north, but
Okay.
it's still, this is all a great spot. And, we talked about this at our event, that this is the place where Bill Gates came to 43 years ago,
That's crazy.
signed the agreement with IBM, right? And that sparked this ecosystem. It really did. The change, the flip from hardware-centric to software-centric really happened at that point or after that point.
And one thing that struck me when you said that is, I wonder why this didn't become the Silicon Valley.
It's crazy
some
that
reason,
it didn't.
right?
Yeah. And
IBM was out here.
maybe the intention was that it was going to be, right? So a New York company comes down, opens a Boca Raton campus way back in the day,
That's right.
60s, 70s. Florida went through some interesting times. That's a whole nother podcast
Yeah, there you go.
conversation. But, we had a conversation at our event around AI, this $158 billion opportunity that Canalys has cited, and also the change in sentiment towards AI, right? With what's happened in the last 18 months, right? None of us expected it. Microsoft didn't expect it. Google didn't expect it. They were all flat-footed in some respects when the release of OpenAI happened, right? What would you say about that?
I think, look, AI is nothing new. You and I know this. It's been around, I would say, even the late 70s. All the work has begun back then. For us as a company, we've been developing products that relies on AI starting 2018, 2019.
Yep.
But I think what happened with OpenAI, especially ChatGPT, it just democratized AI and made it available public, just like what the World Wide Web did for the internet.
Exactly.
And it's an exciting time.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's an amazing time. So I'm going to back up for a second because we got so entrenched in this conversation about Boca that I didn't get a chance to ask you to introduce yourself. You've been on this podcast a few times. In fact, I have a funny story, and I'm going to share it with our viewers and listeners here. Dux was one of my very first podcast guests. I was using Zoom to record out of my second bedroom back in the day.
Yeah.
And in those days, you had to hit the record button on Zoom in order to record the podcast. This is like 2017, right? And we had the most most engaging conversation. You were just on a tear. You were going it was so good. And then I looked up and I realized I wasn't recording. I said, Dux, we're gonna have to start all over again. And that was a great time. You've been on the podcast a few times since.
Well, thank you. I'm so grateful and honored to be back time and again, and now together here in Boca.
We've up-leveled the experience now for our viewers and our listeners. But for those who don't know Dux, and there may be one or two people, not many that I know, that don't know who you are, Dux Raymond Sy. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself and AvePoint?
Well, my name is Dux Raymond Sy, and yes, you heard that right, Dux, D-U-X. I got all of them in a row. I serve as the Chief Brand Officer of AvePoint. And AvePoint's a global leader of data management and data security solutions in the cloud. As a company, we've been around, 22 years, and we built the business on the backs of Microsoft, and now we offer a lot of solutions throughout the different cloud platforms. So personally, it's been an amazing ride. I've been with AvePoint for almost 12 years now, but in the industry,
it seems longer. It seems so much longer.
I know. I've been in this industry, more than 24 years. Yeah. I mean, you and I don't look that, but yeah, we've been
well, you're much younger than I am. But you've had a fascinating journey yourself as well. We'll talk a little bit more about AvePoint too, and the journey of the organization, because it's been fascinating as well. But your personal story,
Sure.
like I remember, I think you shared it. We're both on social quite a bit, and I remember you showed a very early clip of yourself. I think you were at a SharePoint conference or something, and you were asked. And it was a different Dux, like that experience. Tell us about your your personal transformation.
Well, I got to say this. My transformation and the opportunities that came my way wouldn't have been possible if I was in the United States.
Yeah.
So regardless of what people say, there's no perfect place in the world. To me, this is still the best place to thrive and grow and be successful.
Absolutely.
I'm an electrical engineer. I started
That's amazing.
I started my career in the mid 90s. I worked for a small company called Siemens.
Yeah, a little company.
Yeah. And then a year or so later, I realized I like coding, but I like people more.
Yeah.
I just can't sit all day long coding.
Yeah.
And that started my career as an entrepreneur. So I started my business. In fact, it was back then MSP wasn't a thing, but that's what we did. We did services, we managed technology for customers. And I remember as an entrepreneur, I'm like, oh, I'm technically savvy. I should get customers. Not really. So I had to learn sales. I had to learn marketing with no money. And I go, how can I get people to know about me and my company? I'm like, I'm going to write a book. So at that time, I go, well, there's this thing called SharePoint. Seems like it's hot. And we've been using it. We've been developing stuff on it. So I pitched the idea, SharePoint for project management, to O'Reilly Media. I don't know if you know O'Reilly.
I do from our previous conversation, but I don't think many of our viewers and listeners know O'Reilly.
No, they don't know O'Reilly Media, but they're the books with animals on it.
Yes.
So I remember they assigned me an animal and explained how it relates to the title of my book. Oh, that was pretty cool. And yeah, the rest is history. So after that book, I started writing a lot. I get to speak at events.
Yeah, you're a foremost expert in SharePoint, which was a hot product back in those days.
Oh yeah, and even today, a lot of people don't know this, but the content fabric of 365 is still SharePoint.
Yeah, right? And Teams as well.
And
Microsoft Teams.
Absolutely. Yeah. So that was my journey, and I joined AvePoint in 2013 as the public sector Chief Technical Officer.
Yes.
And now
that's how we got met. I was running the public sector partner
in
business
DC.
at Microsoft, and you were very kind and supportive of what we were doing on our side, and you were always my favorite partner to work with. Thank you as well. So let's talk about this transformation of AvePoint, and we're going to dive in on AI and what AvePoint is doing here. But your organization, you talked about this 22-year journey. Basically, two founders or two people started the company.
Yeah.
Even when I first met you, you were still a much smaller company.
Yes.
Tell us more about AvePoint, the organization.
Yeah. So today, like I mentioned, AvePoint's a global leader in data management and data security across all cloud platforms. We have over 21,000 customers. Our technology is available over 100 marketplaces around the world. We're over 3,500 partners that we work with. So
publicly traded company.
And so grateful for this growth. Now, how did it start? It's cool. Like you hear stories out in the valley around how Google started, how Yahoo started. It's kind of similar, but we're just here in the East Coast.
Yeah.
Our founders, Kai Gong and TJ Jang, they just started the company building a product in the public library. So they built the first SharePoint migration product. And the big break was, TJ was telling me this, in a SharePoint 2003 event. They announced SharePoint 2003. And customers were like, well, how do we migrate this thing from 2001? And he said, I raised my hand. I said, we have a product for it. So that was the big break.
Fascinating. Did they actually have a product at that point? Maybe.
Almost, but they did. They did. A week later, they had it, right?
That's fascinating.
And then the business grew. We provide a lot of capabilities around SharePoint. And I think the secret to AvePoint is really listening to customers.
Yes.
The evolving needs of customers. So we built a full suite of product for SharePoint on-prem. And then in 2010, when Microsoft decided, or 2011, that they're going to go all in the cloud. I don't know if you remember BPOS.
Oh, I remember BPOS very well. Thank you. How could you forget a name like BPOS?
BPOS, that's right.
Business process operating.
Business productivity
online services. Thank you. I forgot
right.
the actual what it stood for.
And for those that don't know what it is, it's Microsoft 365.
Yeah, really. It basically is.
And then so Microsoft rounded up some key partners and said, hey, we're going to do this. Who's in with us? And we need partners to make this work. So we raised our hand, was like, yeah, we'll build with you. But that was a big, big bet. I remember internal conversations. There's some people like, who's going to go to the cloud? Like, why are we doing this?
Yeah.
Because that also means shifting our revenue model to subscription, right?
Very different revenue model, by the way.
Very different.
Yes.
But we went through that transition. So today, our platform is called the Confidence Platform. We're across over 14 data centers around the world now, and we manage hundreds and hundreds of petabytes of data. We have all the global certifications, FedRAMP here in the US, certification out in Australia, and we're continuing to invest in our technology platform.
It's fascinating.
And the cool story about that, everything we've learned around there, partners have access to it to offer to their customers as well. And last thing I want to say about AvePoint is, I don't know if I've shared this, the logo is very meaningful to us. The AvePoint logo means two things. It's always dream big and be humble about it, because the A in the circle shows the sun is always rising. It's always like this big dreams, big hope, but it also means somebody with the head bowed down.
I never noticed that.
Yeah.
I never noticed.
So,
that's fascinating.
Always dream big, but with humility. So that's been anchoring the organization, and we're continuing to innovate. We're continuing to do what's possible, especially now with AI.
We are thrilled to announce our partnership with InPartner Software, the world's leading provider of partner management technologies. Serving over 4 million partners globally, InPartner excels in delivering cutting-edge solutions for partner relationship management and partner marketing automation. Their robust platform offers essential tools like program compliance tracking, customizable partner journeys, and comprehensive business planning. These features empower partner teams to swiftly transition from program design to achieving maximum value. InPartner is dedicated to supporting partner ecosystems everywhere and continues to innovate with new modules like Analytics Studio, designed to help track and maximize the ROI of your partner program. For more information, visit InPartner.com. So you may know this by now, because I've been talking about the 7 principles of successful partnering now for many years, and basically boiled down a set of operating principles that I believe to be successful. And you represent one of those operating principles in a big way. And many times when I'm giving presentations and doing keynotes, I talk about one of those principles around effective partnering being about brand and story. And
Thank you.
I reference you quite a bit because I think that you've done probably one of the most effective jobs I've seen, and I mean this truly as a compliment, of understanding how to work with the tech giant, whether it be a Microsoft, a Google, or an Amazon, in building those relationships and building that brand. And we talk about, like, what do the pinnacle partners do? What are the most award-winning partners? And AvePoint has been a global Partner of the Year award winner multiple years in a row. You have done some things differently, I believe. I love if you could dive in a little bit, but I do think that you exude this brand and story message better than most organizations, like building your relationships, building your story, being known for something that others aren't known for. Can you spend a few moments here for our viewers and listeners? Absolutely.
I think, as I reflect on that question, I think there's 3 core things that not only important to me, but important to AvePoint as an organization when we partner, regardless if it's with the hyperscalers or with our channel ecosystem. Well, first and foremost, at the end of the day, we're a business, right? So we have to focus on the alignment and what the mutual benefit is. Oftentimes we see press releases, so-and-so partner with so-and-so. But to me, it's beyond that. It's not just this PR, take a picture and let's post on social. We have to think about what your needs are, what's your metric for success, and what ours are. So
what's your scorecard, we used to call it back in the day.
Yeah, exactly. KPI, scorecard, KPIs, OKRs, right? However you want to call it. But so for example, our solutions today addresses the need of a massive addressable market, right? So let's just pick Microsoft. Microsoft 365, at least last they report, they have over 350 million paying subscribers a month.
350 million paid. Paid.
That's only Microsoft. I haven't talked about Google or Salesforce or none of that, right? That's paid. To us, that's massive.
Yep.
And then more importantly, as a vendor, we know that these customers would need help around services.
That's right.
So what we can do is we come to our channel ecosystem and say, sure, today, let me say MSPs, let me pick them, right? They do a lot of work around migration, for example, taking customers to 365 or protecting their data with backup.
Yep.
But what we're saying is you can actually offer more services. You can increase your recurring revenue. Now with Copilot, help customers get their data ready, secure it, optimize it on an ongoing basis. So to me, it's focusing on that alignment and mutual benefit. We win and they win. I think the next thing is, my next tip is just having an open communication and build trust. At the end of the day, people buy from people.
That's right.
I can give you the most MDF or the most incentives and discounts, what have you, but if I can't trust you, Vince, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's true.
So it's a human relationship, and I don't think that's ever going to go away.
I love what you have to say here. And what I'll also add to that too is understanding, taking an active role with your partner. Mm-hmm. And then maybe that's where the trust piece comes in,
yes.
Right? I know you and I both are active in an organization as advisors, and building those personal relationships over time, over years, right? This doesn't happen overnight. This is not a once and done thing that we do.
And then that's why I always, when I hear conversation around, oh, I got to meet this person to do account mapping.
Yeah.
Doesn't work like that. If that's the first thing you say, hey, I want to schedule a meeting to do account mapping.
It's so transactional.
Nobody's going to respond.
Nobody's going to respond to that.
No.
So we've been talking about these tectonic shifts.
Yeah.
We've been talking about this time of transformation, the massive role of the hyperscalers. It's incredible. Like nobody else can make these massive investments. That's why they're the hyperscalers, right? Microsoft, $14 billion a quarter.
That's right.
In build out. It's crazy. Chips and infrastructure, just that alone. And now we layer in AI and this massive opportunity around AI. And at our event, you spoke about what AvePoint's been doing around AI and what you think about AI and its future potential. I was hoping we could talk more about that. And also I wanted to cite that 18 months ago, we weren't having these conversations. As you said, AI's been around for 20, 30 years, maybe longer, but really, we weren't really having the conversations about AI that we're having today. Talk more about how you're infusing AI into your business and how you're thinking about the future growth and opportunities.
Sure. Well, first question I have is, have you bought any NVIDIA stocks? Look at their market cap.
There's a long story about my NVIDIA stock. And I'd rather not share it publicly, but let's just say I had Tesla and NVIDIA at one point.
There you go.
And I sold the wrong one.
Okay. All right. Now
let's just say
today.
But I'm mostly into the broad market. So,
there you go.
Yeah, I try not to make too many individual investment decisions myself any longer.
So indeed, as we discussed, right, there's massive opportunity for AI, but specific to us, there's really 3 things we're doing today that we think will help us grow and maximize this AI opportunity. So first, we're really investing internally, equipping AvePointers to embrace AI. I'm not just talking about devs. I'm talking about devs to business teams, accounting, finance, marketing. And you talk about drinking the Kool-Aid. We're all in. What's so cool is we use Copilot. One of my finance colleagues, he's like the most power user I know, but it's awesome. Because to us, sure, we can sell AI related products, but the mindset has to change.
That's
because
right.
This is just a totally different way of working, thinking, and coding.
And it changes every day.
It does.
Yeah.
It does. And for example, prompting is important. While AI is cool, it's really not that smart yet.
Yeah.
You have to give proper prompts, right? So that's the first thing we're doing. We're investing internally, making sure we're adopting our mindset will really embrace AI and how we can benefit from it. Second is To a lot of customers, it's still a novelty, right? It's new, but we need to help them prepare their data.
Right. They're building their muscle too.
They are. I mean, everybody's excited, right?
Yes.
But at the same time, people don't realize is it relies on data. And we all know that if you lift the hood under the covers,
Yep.
everybody's a digital hoarder. Their data estate is a mess.
Always.
And the good news is
It's that drawer, that empty drawer, that junk drawer.
that's right. Well, I don't know if you've seen the show Hoarders.
Yes.
That's exactly what it
That's
is.
exactly what it
People
is.
don't want to admit it, but that's what we're seeing, right?
Yeah.
A lot of organizations are piloting Copilot, and then suddenly they realize, hold on, number one, how come it's pulling out information from 20 years ago?
Yeah.
Or number two, we're seeing information we're not supposed to.
Yeah. That's a big issue, right?
That's right. That's right.
You don't want people to see what the CFO's compensation is.
Yeah.
You don't want them to be able to see the secrets that the organization hasn't released yet.
Right.
Microsoft went through an internal challenge with a press release
100%.
that wasn't ready for release, and then everybody saw it ahead of time.
Yeah.
Just this year.
And just so you know, it's not about people being malicious.
Yeah.
It's just that there's so much information, people don't know what's out there. Are the permissions
That's right.
set up right? So what we're doing from an AI perspective is not only we're equipping customers, but also partners to get their data prepared, secured, and optimized. But we've been at this forever. It's not like we just created new tools for AI. This is our core strength from
Right.
day one.
Yep.
And that's really exciting, regardless if you're doing Copilot today or not. You still have to get your data foundation
Right.
set up. And then the last thing we're doing with AI is we're investing in industry solutions. Yesterday, I showcased our education solution, which is really cool. Like you could do remote proctoring with cognitive services. So if somebody's taking a test, remote test, it will watch the environment and track your eyeballs if you're cheating.
Oh, that is fantastic.
I mean, students
Wow.
hate
yeah,
it.
I was going to say.
But this is through AI.
But this is the world we live in now, past
It
COVID,
is.
right?
It is.
Yeah.
Another example is financial services. So we just we're working with the government organizations and banks in APAC to build an AI-powered solution to prevent money laundering in trafficking. This is
Wow.
really cool stuff, and you can only do it with AI.
It's fascinating times we live in.
Yeah.
It's important to me that the supplements that I take are of the highest quality. And that's why for over 7 years now, I've been drinking AG1. Unlike many supplement brands, and believe me, I've tried many of them, AG1 is consistently looking for ways to do things better. At 52 iterations of their formula and counting, their team is always finding ways to make AG1 even better. Quality for AG1 isn't just a buzzword. It's a commitment backed by expert-led scientific research, high-quality ingredients, industry-leading manufacturing, and rigorous testing. At every step of the process, AG1 goes above and beyond industry standards. I know I can trust what's in every scoop of AG1 because the team relies on expert-led scientific research, sourcing ingredients for potency and efficacy. Taking care of my health shouldn't be complicated, and that's why I rely on AG1 because it simplifies this by covering all of my nutritional bases and setting me up for success every single day. AG1's ingredients are heavily researched for efficacy and quality, and I love that every scoop also includes important prebiotics, probiotics, and digestive enzymes for my gut health. So if you want to replace your multivitamin and more like I have, start with AG1. Try AG1 and get a 1-year supply of vitamin D3 and 5 free travel packs with your first subscription. Go to drinkag1.com/VinceM. That's drinkag1.com/VinceM. Check them out. So let's talk about another topic that is near and dear to both our hearts, and this is channels and ecosystems, right? I mean, we talk about sparking the ecosystem. AvePoint has always been a partner-led organization, building out started off certainly in the Microsoft world, working directly with Microsoft, and then building your partner capacity over time. Let's talk about the work and investments that AvePoint is making here.
So AvePoint's an organization. Our biggest partner is Microsoft, and all the solutions we built is around B2B enterprise technology. So through the years, we've worked a lot with customers directly, But also in the last 4 years, we've doubled down our investment with building our channel ecosystem. Today, we have all kinds of partners from SIs, resellers, VARs to MSPs. But what we're doing of late is really investing more with our MSP partners because we see that there's a lot of growth in the customers that they serve. And we're about to launch additional incentives, new benefits. But more importantly, I'm really excited about this because towards the end of the year, we'll have an event and you'll come to this event.
I'm looking forward to this.
We'll do all these announcements, but one of the cool things is we're investing heavily in our Elements partner platform. And this
Elements?
is yes.
Okay, tell us
This is
more.
something I haven't told you.
Yeah, no, this is new to me.
Yeah, so on one hand, we have a lot of products that our partners take and build services on.
Yes.
Right? So let's say Copilot data readiness, backup, migration. We have all these products. But if you're a partner, you have access to our Elements partner platform. And what does that do? Our Elements partner platform increases operational efficiency because you log in, you can put all your customers there and say, apply this, backup policy to my 10 customers. Boom, right? Or you can also streamline multi-tenant management. Because if you're an MSP, I'm managing company A, company B, company C, I would have to log in to the different environments.
Yeah.
But with Elements, you have single pane of glass and be able to apply rules and policies and billing and licensing in one platform.
Sounds fascinating. So it's giving the MSPs, again, that one pane of glass.
That's
so
right.
They can look across maybe multiple clients
That's
as well.
right. Yeah.
And apply technologies.
Technology and then
rules.
And lastly, it automates a lot of the managed service activities. So for example, I talk about Copilot security. In fact, yesterday, which reminded me, Gartner released a report on how to secure Copilot.
Interesting.
And they mentioned us.
Oh, that's fascinating.
They said you need tools beyond what Microsoft offers.
Yeah.
And AvePoint has one of those tools. But going back to Elements, so let's say you're an MSP, you can use Elements to monitor your customer's environment. So if there's any behaviors or things that's not supposed to happen, you can apply rules automatically with technology. So that reduces, the need for more headcount to physically take care of your customer's environment.
Well, you mentioned security, and we talked about like the priorities of Microsoft. From our event yesterday, we had several Microsoft executives in the room, as well as leaders like Dux. And it seems like, some of the same priorities we talked about. Certainly AI is the number one priority, but security is becoming omnipresent and important across the organization. It's basically the foundational layer now. And Microsoft is, I'll say, elevating even more so the importance of security and layering in security.
That's right. And when we think about security, traditionally, right, people think about security either from an endpoint perspective, network, device level, but now data security is certainly top of mind. And when we talk about data, sometimes we only think about structured data. But unstructured data is all over your email, your chats, your files, your OneDrive documents. So it is a top of mind for a lot of leaders and organizations, especially now they're pushing more stuff into the cloud.
So I mentioned that being an award-winning partner, all the work that you've done, again, the relationship with Microsoft is a very strong relationship that you've had over the years. These organizations that watch and follow along with us, they're all trying to figure it out their journey, right? So what advice would you have for these partners watching and listening with us today about optimizing for their success?
I would say I have 3 or 4 things that I can share. Number one is really be willing to work together to achieve your goals and start with something quick and small. In small may be relative,
right?
But you don't need to let's come up with our business plan for the next 6 months or 12 months.
The 3-year plan.
Yeah. No, start with something for the next 3 months. Just start with one thing, right? And then iterate on that and see if it works. Even though both on paper, the mutual benefits may look good, but you may find out, I don't really work well with Vince, right? So, but come up with a project and be willing to work together right away and achieve those goals. Second is be very patient and understanding, because you know what? Stuff will go wrong for sure.
Yes.
And that's okay. That's part of just the human experience, right? again, on paper, on technology, it may look perfect, but miscommunication may happen, or certain people may drop something, and that's perfectly fine. It's no different than how we interact internally.
That's right. And you know when to pivot at that point.
And that's part of the growth mindset.
That's part of the growth mindset.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then lastly, I would say be willing to take risk. Your solution or what you're trying to do, your go-to-market may not be 100% foolproof, but time is of essence. We've seen, as you mentioned, the last 18 months, stuff changes so fast. Right?
So fast.
So as long as you have a good understanding and idea where you want to get to, take risks. Just do something, and then pivot.
I love it. I love it. So I'd love to ask a personal question.
Yeah.
As you might know, I don't know if I've ever asked you this one before, but I'd love to do it now that we're in the studio. You're hosting a dinner party, and you can invite any 3 guests from the present or the past to this amazing dinner party, Dux. We could talk about the menu and the location as well. I'd love to hear more about that. Whom would you invite and why?
Wow. This how many people? You said 3?
3
people. I think the person, okay, a couple of people that comes to mind now. The first person that comes to mind is Tim Berners-Lee. Right?
Oh, yes.
Right?
Yeah. We're taking people back a few years.
Tim Berners-Lee?
The internet.
He invented the World Wide Web.
Yes.
So because of him, the internet's so popular. Because prior to him, everything was text-based. It's all for the geeks. And what Tim Berners-Lee did, he opened the world to the possibilities of the internet.
Yeah, the ability to access.
Yeah, but not only did he do that, why I want to invite him? Because he didn't make money off of it.
Yeah. Crazy.
I think to this day, he's still a professor up in the Northeast, and he still drives his old car.
Yeah.
But,
probably like an old Subaru or something.
Or Toyota Corolla or something. And, but a lot of people made tons of money off of his
billions and billions and
creation.
Billions. Yes.
What I would love to learn is, how does he feel about that? Right? I'm sure he's happy. I'm sure he's humble about it. Because if he didn't care, if he was upset, we would have heard it. Right?
Yeah.
But because of that one moment, look at where we are today.
It's incredible.
Second person is, I would say, it may sound cliche, but Mother Teresa.
Interesting.
Because if you look at her life, her background, but what she did, it's this heart of service. It's this heart of giving back. Yeah. And you talk about
working with lepers. I mean, leper colonies.
The people who the world shun and don't care for. How can you get that, right? Like I always talk about, we always pay forward, we give back, because life is too short not to give back.
Yeah. Especially
what we do, right? But to that extent, I don't know, like how could she have done that? I want that, right?
Yeah.
And I think the last person is my late dad, my late father. He sacrificed a lot, and he passed away when he was quite young. So there's now that my son's going to college.
Yeah.
The conversations I've had with my son, I wish I had that with my late father.
Yeah, I understand that.
Yeah.
I understand. That's awesome. What a great dinner party.
It's going to be awesome.
We're going to host this.
I'll cook.
Okay.
I love cooking. So it'll be at my house, and you're invited too.
I was going to say, I could bring dessert.
Oh, there you go.
I could bring dessert. I'll bring, we'll cook maybe cookies or something. We'll figure out what Mother Teresa likes.
That's right. But
what a great, a humble group. But, you think about like people, we worry about like making the $1 billion, right? So many young people aspire to this. I think it's probably one of the reasons why we talk about mental health and always comparing yourself. No, none of the people you mentioned were millionaires or billionaires, but they had an impact on the world.
That's right. The way I think about, look, money is not bad at all. But the way I think about money is, it'd be great to have money so we can give back more. We can help more.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not sure about, different people have different goals. But for me, if I've given the opportunity to, earn more and that's a great opportunity to help more and give more back. So
You always struck me as somebody who is of service to others, and I appreciate that about you and your friendship all these years. Yeah. One more question. Mm-hmm. We're at that midway point of 2024. I can't believe how fast this year has flown by. I was just wishing you Happy New Year. Seems like yesterday. One last piece of advice for those partners that need to lean in. What would you say to them? Like, what do they need to do this second half of the year?
I think AI Copilot is really hot. A lot of customers are hungry to get going, and a lot of customers don't know where to start. Jump right in. That's it. Just jump right in. Don't overthink it, or else you'll miss the window.
Yeah. It's a big opportunity.
Yeah.
Dux, thank you so much for being an incredible guest again. And we did hit the record button this time, I promise. I want to thank each of you for your support, for following, listening, and supporting the Ultimate Guide to Partnering for 7.5 years now.
Wow.
It has been an incredible journey. And for those of you watching, hopefully you're watching on our new YouTube channel. Please subscribe. The more subscribers we get to YouTube, the more we get to feature amazing guests like Dux on this podcast. So thank you for joining. Dux, great to see you again today.
Thank you, Vince.
Thanks for coming to Boca for this.
Thank you.
Thank you. If you're part of the movement, you know I have a very strong point of view. I've sat on both sides of the table for over 30 years now. I built growth through partnerships in PC, internet, cloud, mobile, AI, marketplaces, and more. I've also seen the demise of organizations that are resistant to change. I'm part of the communities, special interest groups, and associations, and I don't see one place that mirrors the ecosystem and brings it all together. You see, I see a vibrant world where hyperscalers, builders, ISV sellers, SIs, MSPs, and other partners come together to spark the ecosystem's growth. I've talked to many of you, and what I continually hear is it's noisy, I don't know whom to listen to, and where to go. There's a massive opportunity, but I'm not sure how to get there. Well, you've been heard. We're getting ready to open the doors early to pilot this new experience. We want this to be your place with your feedback and participation. If you're a builder, an innovator, or a leader, visit our website,